Yo, what's up? It's Gabe. I'm gonna show you the 5 things I did to that beat to bring more life into it. I didn't add any new sounds or anything. These are all just little things that stack up and make a beat feel more alive. And number 5 is why a really good loop can still be a boring beat. So let's get to number 1. All right, so the first thing is going to be making our MIDI feel human. Now, if you were to play this pattern into the piano, your velocity is not going to be lined up like this. Your notes are not going to be lined up exactly. That's not human. So right here, this doesn't sound bad. It sounds clean. So what we can do to make this even better is to do Option S or Alt S if you're on PC and mess with the strumming and the velocity. So now we can see there's gonna be different velocities between each note. If we were to play the piano, we're not going to be hitting each note at the same exact force. So that's what this would be. The velocity is basically how hard you're hitting a key. And then with the strum, as you see, the notes are slightly shifting this way, as if you were strumming a guitar. You're not hitting each note at the same time. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Same with the piano. Sometimes we hit the piano at different rates, different times. This is going to add a nice strum and change in velocity. Now, you'll notice some of the notes are being cut off. How we can fix this, we open the Strummerizer back up and we click Preserve End. Now instead of cutting off, it's gonna save that ending of the sound, as you can hear. So now we're not getting cut off anymore. So this is the first way you can really make your beat alive, is going through your MIDIs and making them feel more human. Another thing we can do on top of this is to find the key notes that are important in the MIDI and boost them. If I'm playing the piano and I'm feeling the song, as I'm hitting keys, if I know there's that one note that's really making up the melody, I'm gonna hit it harder. And it might be subconsciously, I might not be doing it on purpose, but that's gonna really emphasize it. So I'm gonna take these, and I'm also gonna take these last notes here, and I'm gonna boost all these. So I'm gonna hold them up, and I'm gonna hold Shift and walk down the line with my trackpad. So now I feel like they're being emphasized much better, which is adding to the emotion of the song. And the same idea doesn't stop at the MIDI. A lot of your drum's groove is gonna get decided before you even put a plugin on them. Which brings me to number 2, which is to target the drums at the source. All right, so I have the drum pattern for the beat right here. Now, I'm going to bring some life into this beat by messing with the velocity and pitch of some of these drums. One thing that you guys might do with your 808s is to mess with the envelope of your 808. And in case you don't know why you do that, it's because it gives you control of how long something plays. So I want to focus on the open hat here. Right? Now, if I go here and do this to the open hat, and I extend this note just a little bit, I now have gained more control of my open hat. Now, why did I want to do this with the open hat? Because the second open hat runs through the snare very subtly. There's a snare that hits while the open hat's finishing. I want to fix this by making the open hat a little shorter and letting the snare cut it off. You'll see that the first open hat is a little longer and the second one cuts off. You can see this done with an 808 because I also did it with the 808 in this beat. You'll see I have a little gap here where the snare is. The other thing I want to focus on is the clap right here at the end. Sounds cool. We can make it sound cooler. First, I want to mess with the velocity. I want to give it a little staircase on the velocity so it sounds like it's coming towards me. So I like how that sounds, and I want to take it a little further, and I want to drop the pitch down as it goes. And now it's going to be a little darker. I like how that sounds. Now I want to go to the hi-hat. I'm going to add an extra note here, and I'm going to do the same thing with the pitch. I'm actually going to start it low, have it creep up, and then have that other note be a little higher. So now it's kind of passing that threshold of the regular pitch. Now I feel like these drums have a lot more intention behind them, and subconsciously in my opinion, are a little more enjoyable because there's a little more going on without going to your plugins and having to do so much to mess with all your drums. The 808 is gonna be one of the most fundamental parts of a beat nowadays, and we wanna make sure they're translating everywhere because we don't know what people are listening on. So let's talk about how we can bring life into the 808. A huge 808 doesn't matter if it can only be heard through subs. People listen through AirPods, people just listen to music on their phones, so we want to make sure we can still emphasize our 808 without destroying it, while also making sure they can be heard everywhere. So I'm going to play this 808 with and without the plugins. One plugin that I like, and I use it very subtly, is Fruity Wave Shaper. The first thing I have on my 808 is the Wave Shaper. So this is before. Now I'm gonna slightly increase it. If I smashed it. And that just depends on the genre and the emotion of the song. Now this is a plugin I love. It's the Pultec. Waves has the Puig tech, I believe. But I'm really focused on these 3 knobs on the left. The low frequency, the boost, and the attenuating. Boosting is boosting. Attenuating is like dipping it. It's taking out. And then here we can pick the frequency. 60 to 100 is like my preferred range. This is usually what I do. I boost it 2 to 3, and I attenuate a little less than I boosted. Here's the 808 without it. I'm going to turn it on. Now, when it comes to translation, saturation is going to be our best friend, right? So here I have Saturn 2. This is a good saturation plugin. I like it because you can create crossover bands. If you can get this plugin, get this plugin. I'm not doing anything to the low end. I'm actually focusing on the high end of the beat, kind of where the kick of it's going to be. So I'm going to solo it. Now, listen as I crank this up. This high-end region is what's going to make an 808 sound much louder off an iPhone speaker. It's actually a lot of reason why the 808s are louder nowadays is because people aren't listening in much treated environments with subwoofers or anything. So we need to give the 808 high-end through saturation without messing up the sub frequencies and muddying the whole beat. So now with the whole beat playing, I'm going to again play them with the plugins and without the plugins. So that's already sounding so much better, and it's going to translate better, and it just has more emphasis and oomph in the bass, which is, I love bass. I have subs in my car, so to me, having clean but punchy bass is very important for me. Even though we've gotten the individual elements to sound good, when they come together, they might not sound as cohesive. Before we had drum kits, we had real drums, and the one thing they shared was a room. Our drums are not in the same room, so we can create this real life effect with our drums using reverb. Your drums are gonna start feeling a little disconnected because they were never made in the same room. We're going back to our drums. And the sound selection matches, but they're very dry. So I've sent the drums to a short reverb, and I'm going to increase the knob here. Another thing we can do, I have this on my template, is like a parallel compression of sorts, which is basically just me sending the drum signal to another bus and really messing with them. It's going to add a cool effect behind the drums. Again, it's more subtle. It's more about adding emotion and life into the drums. So I'm going to turn this down and have it in the background. This is how the drums sounded before. This is after. Subtle, but the subtle things add up. The harsh truth is that we can do all of this and have our beats still sound boring or possibly lifeless. So So this is going to bring me to number 5, which I feel like is the most important, which is bringing contrast and movement into our beat, which can be done with automation while we're structuring. So I'm going to show you a few things we can do. So we're going to go back to the melody, and sometimes we're going to feel like there's something missing, but instead of adding more to it, we can create contrast within the midis while also using effects to fill up space. It's a bit repetitive. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is actually up the octave of some of this. The last notes too. Now this is giving some progression to the beat, I would say, without having to add more elements. Now I want to go into the mixer and I want to use Shaper Box, which is one of my favorite plugins. I found this one, it was transient dampening, so it kind of removed the harshness it had. And then I threw a delay on there, which I think really made it even better and filled up some of the space. I'm gonna throw a reverb. Now I have this pad, like a string pad that's copying the first MIDI, just to add some more atmosphere to the beat. I also had some Shaper Box on there that was adding a gate effect to it. You'll hear it. A little too harsh, so I'm gonna tone it down. Now this is creating more rhythm in the beat without having to add some rhythmic element, like a drum or something. On the first part of the electric piano, I boosted around 2K because that's where you'll hear the main part of the piano standing out. Already, this melody is sounding so much better. Now, I went ahead and just structured the beat a bit. You know, I have everything laid out. Command beat it around. On a Fruity Love filter automation. Faded it out right where that clap was. And that is how you can make the loop not be overly repetitive while still sounding good, you know? This is why I think it's important to know how to work with artists, especially if you're trying to get placements, because you have to understand that when these people are listening to your beats, not only are they listening to sound if it's good, but can they perform on it? If you want some placements, you need to give space. You need to give the listener variation so it doesn't get overly repetitive. And this is a great way to make your beats have more life. Being able to take advantage of contrast in your beats instead of having to add stuff into it can really help your life be easier when you're trying to make beats. You know, you might get stuck and you're like, what can I add to it? But sometimes you don't need to add. You need to change or remove. Absence of something is going to emphasize the presence of it. So, no, you don't need to blast the bass. Sometimes you need to take the bass away to remind the listener what it's like when it's not there. So when it comes back, it's like, damn, that's hard. It's really 5 different things I did to bring more life into this beat. No, I didn't have to add 10 more sounds. I wanted to show that each sound had more intention behind it to completing the beat. So I really hope that you could pick something up from this, not copy exactly what I did, but understand why I was doing things, and then think about that the next time you're making beats. If this is your first time seeing me, please hit that subscribe button. Please like this video. Check out my Instagram and TikTok. I've been posting every day. This is gonna be my first YouTube video, and I plan on posting either weekly or bi-weekly. A lot of my videos are really just gonna be based around creative thinking and how to do things, but not just how to do things, but why things are done in the first place. If you even just got anything from this video, that means a lot to me. That's kind of why I want to do this. I learned while teaching, so it helps me to help you. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace.